Hello, my fellow Wastelanders or Vault Dwellers, whichever one you just deem yourself to be. We are going to talk about Fallout 76. I have been doing some beta testing. I know that you've probably, if you've been following the channel, seen some of my videos, and yes, some of them are age restricted for obvious reasons, that there's a group of adults playing a game and some conversations probably not best for younger ears. As such, most of my videos will probably be age restricted, so if you are underage, I invite you to watch any of my other videos. And if you are of age to watch these, I encourage you to actually get in and join the game. Everybody is wondering, should I buy or should I not buy Fallout 76? Is it a Fallout game? Does it really carry the feel of Fallout? And I say that wholeheartedly, it carries the feel of Fallout. You walk around the wastelands, it is a barren, empty wasteland. There are very few things to interact with. Much like in Fallout 4, whenever you're out traveling, it's usually just you by yourself. Only the caveat of this one is you can invite 4 people you grew up with in your vault to run with you. Or, quite possibly, group up with people you haven't even met yet that came out of the same vault but you just didn't really know. How big was this vault anyway? We will never know. It's the vault of endless floors. As far as all of the things going on in this game, there is a magnificent storyline. So many people you find out about. Things that you discover, like a haunted location. And I'm currently watching through some of the playthrough right now. I absolutely adore this game. I am currently fiending for when it drops tomorrow. Hopefully I will get this video up today so that this will make sense. But yeah, there is a quest line, there is a storyline, there are things to discover, there is a huge map to explore. Even those playing the beta testing never even got a chance to explore the whole map, so there's going to be new encounters for us anyway. And my group only explored like a tiny little section of this huge map. There's so much to see and so much to do and get into. And there's interactions. Excuse me while I evac... No, out of the room. Sorry, I had to evict my cat from my room. She was coming to tell me hi, and why aren't you petting me? So anyway, but we have gotten into a lot of things. We've learned a lot about the crafting, the card system, which is really unusual. I will be leaving a link down in the description with my card setup, and I'm kind of going for like this melee martial artist type of thing. I guess a melee martial artist type of thing that likes to carry around a pitchfork, because that is my weapon of choice. Weird, I know, right? But it is actually a very effective weapon. And but also one that will, you know, carry a few surprises should I ever get into a fight that I feel like I'm losing. I'm also going to hopefully be an expert in all the things that explode, because I've got an affinity for exploding vehicles. I don't know why, it looks cool. So we're just going to run with that. And oh, I can't wait. I really am excited, folks. I really am. There's been so much bad press over this game, and I don't understand it. I mean, I get some of the concerns for it, but it really is a very enjoyable game. And as far as the, what do they call them, the microtransactions? Well, if you compare it to things like, oh, I don't know, Fortnite, it's more or less the same way. As a matter of fact, they could have almost have copied some of the similar things to Fortnite. Anything that you're going to get is purely cosmetic, which means you could opt to work towards this stuff or not to. I mean, you really don't have to have anything that's in that shop. It's more like if you want to buy a skin for your stash box to make it look like a Nuka-Cola thing, or, let's see, there was some little succulent plants that you can put inside your builds, which I got, obviously, because, you know, I like stuff for my builds. So, you're not paying to play, you're not paying to win. Not to mention, unless you're planning on engaging in PvP alone, there's plenty of stuff to do, and that you're really not paying to play it at all. PvPers, I have been PvP'd, I have PvP'd, and both seem fairly worked out. There is a little bit of a discrepancy in that the person who has gotten a bounty on themselves do not sometimes realize they are now having a bounty. It's a little sketchy, like if you get one of the group settlements and you and your team build in it, if somebody was to come in there and collect something out of one of the stash boxes there, they automatically get a bounty because they stole from a group. The issue being is you're not warned that somebody else already owns that, so you don't know that you stole from them. At least that was our interaction with that particular case when one of our members became wanted. And we did the only honorable thing and took him out without remorse of any sort. Took care of that, nipped it right in the bud so we wouldn't have a group of really pissed off people coming at us. And, I think it turned out pretty well. We apologized, asked them if they wanted their stuff back, sent some hearts their way and all that kind of thing. All was good. And then on the other side of that, we found out someone who had been trampsing around our area had a bounty on him, which means he was fiddling around in stuff he should not have been in. What precisely, we don't know, just that he had a bounty and he was hanging around our base. So, quite possibly, maybe he picked the lock to the door because the door was locked. I don't know precisely whether or not that would have given him a bounty. I would like a little bit more word from Bethesda on exactly what caused the bounty. There was a clear distinction whenever one of them was PvPing me and I was ignoring it. Not because I didn't realize it was happening. I totally didn't realize it was happening. I wasn't paying attention. I was all up in my Pip-Boy. But they got the bounty on them because they were shooting me and I wasn't responding and they continued to shoot me. So then they got the bounty and my entire team and I got the warning that someone was being attacked. Me. So that one was clear. But whenever they attack a base, no one in the team got a notice that they had attacked the base, that anybody had broken in, so we're really not sure what caused the bounty on this individual that was hanging around our base, just that they had a bounty. And then as soon as we took out the individual who had the bounty, their whole team showed up to take us out. Which is good fun and clean PvP as far as I'm concerned. That's how you get a good war going on that starts the adrenaline going. And as such, after the PvP was ended, both sides had their kill. We had the first kill, they had the second kill. Only they were killed at the end of that kill because, my team don't play. Well, our team don't play. I say my team because they're my boys. Oh my god, I just sounded like a mom. I'm not a mom, guys. Don't do that to me. I am a mom. You know what? Just erase everything I just said. The point is me and my guys, we took them out. So it was kind of clean in that way, and then they just broke it off and went somewhere else. It wasn't like they continued to harass us or anything. So it was, in my opinion, a very clean PvP session. So that part seems to be kind of worked out. The wanted thing still needs a little bit of working. As far as things that need to be worked on, obviously the stash limit, which they've already said they're going to work on the stash limit. It's just not enough room. You can have very little... Well, I say very little, but I had like 200 pounds of aid supplies that I had been collecting, and about 150 worth of stuff that was just stashed my junk collection for me building, and then just a few weapons, and my stash box was already full. So, I don't know, maybe I just had too much aid, and I did try to get rid of some of it by going to a seller, but they don't buy for very much, and they don't carry very much. So that's one thing that I would actually try and change, or if not up the cap on the vendors, up the cap in that each of the vendors doesn't have the same stash amount. They all have their own 300 to work with, so if you wanted to, you can bounce from one vendor to another vendor to another vendor and clean them out. Also, if that quantity is set for, like, if I go in there and buy all their stuff, all their plans and everything, and sell off all my stuff, one of my teammates should be able to go in there and still work with the 300 that he should originally have, because it was a completely different character. It shouldn't be capped that way, in my opinion. Some of the other things that could be handled better is the push to talk. We run with Discord. It's easier. Everybody can get into the same group. We don't have to be within a certain amount of distance to hear each other, which causes audio issues in the recording. But push to talk would save so much time whenever your group runs into another group. You don't want worldwide chatter, you don't want location chatter, just in case you happen to be in a city. You don't want to have 20 other groups or 20 other people in the group talking. You want to have just your core group so you can hear each other. I did have that reaction whenever I was running through a city and I would just idly walk by a group of people and I could hear a guy eating a bag of chips. I didn't want that, so I turned it off. Push to talk would mean it would suddenly open up the ability to talk to the people right in front of you. Say you get into a PvP situation and you're on the bad end of the deal and you want to say, look, I didn't mean to steal from your stash. I didn't know it was yours. Do you want it back? Having to go back into your settings and change the setting to outside chat instead of chatting into Discord, those few seconds can get you into a massive amount of trouble with everybody starting a fight. Your group against another group, people losing their stuff. And by stuff, I mean junk, because that is the only thing that you drop is your junk. But say y'all intentionally went to a space to scavenge, I don't know, circuitry. A little hard to find and needed to build for let's see, water purifiers, and I think they're also used for sentries, your turrets. So they might be a little difficult to find, and someone might be searching for those one things, and if they drop their stash and they're halfway across the map, it can be something of a pain, and not every person who does PvP is going to leave that stash behind for you to come back and get. So, I don't know, a push to talk would make it easier if you could toggle that while you're in game instead of having to go back into the settings. I think that would be a time saver and just kind of a quality of life thing, really. I would like to see the game optimized for lower end computers, not hugely lower end. It is a Fallout game. It needs to be on a higher end computer, but my graphics card is right there on the boundary of what is called for this game. I think I'm like 10 points under what the game calls for as far as the graphics card. I can still run the game, but I had to finagle it. I'll probably post those stats as soon as I can get back into the game, post those stats so that I could get it to run properly without so much lag, because whenever I put it on high, it was way too much lag. When I put it on, let's see, I put it from ultra down to high, down to medium. When you put it on medium, there's no water. It's just a shiny surface that looks like shit. So I went in there and finagled my settings. I will probably put those up with the next video so that you'll be able to see what settings. So you have a little bit of the water, you have some good graphics, but it doesn't stutter as much. So I have played around with that so everybody can see those settings, but I would like to see it optimized more for lower end computers so that we can still enjoy some of that wonderful texture and everything that goes on with this game, because it is a quite beautiful game. Upcoming things that I would like to see from this game. I would like more quests. I mean, obviously there's a ton, ones I have not even touched at all, but I'd like them to continue, because as you get further along, and it's say a year from now, you might start running into the same quests too much, and it might, kill off the game way too early. They want this game to run for years, so one of the ways to do that is add more quests, and not just more quests, more stories. Things that you can find out in the world, papers to follow around, and I do not mean the long audio logs. Those audio logs need to be cut down by, I don't know, 5 minutes, because whenever you're doing a monologue or anything else like that for, like, say, I don't know, any audition that you go to, it's a 30-second monologue to a minute tops. I would say 30 seconds to listen to an audio log is more than plenty. If you can't tell your story in 30 seconds appropriately, the story's not good enough to leave in. Simple as that. It's getting too wordy. There's not enough time. There's fights going on. There's people in the world that are chatting. You don't have time to listen to more than that. What happens if you're in the middle of a fight and you didn't hear it coming up behind you because you're too busy stuck in an audio log you couldn't not play, because it auto-plays as soon as you pick it up, which is another thing. It gives you the option to pick up or play. You pick it up, it still plays. It should not do that. Something else I would like to see is more workshop items. I don't mind if you have to put it in there for V-Bucks, excuse me, all of those people who are from the other game. Atoms or whatever, it does seem like it's kind of a little bit of a ripoff of the V-Bucks. Just a little bit, Bethesda, just a little bit. But that aside, yeah, I would like to see more stuff put in there, and I know it's coming eventually, so I'm excited to see what all comes up in there. And more skins, more tattoos, more hairstyles, varied hair colors, I don't know, more costumes type of thing. If there were some really traditional type of era-esque costumes that we could put into this, that would be great for me. And I don't mean baseball and what was one of the other ones I found? It was a fair costume. That one was pretty interesting. It wasn't what I expected, so that one was pretty cool. And some other stuff. And definitely a lot more armors, and just like armor skins, not necessarily different types of armor, because you don't want to put those inside the shop. Just the ability to color regular armor, and I think that ability's in there, but it hasn't been unlocked, at least for my character it hasn't been unlocked. Some of them have on there that you can paint them, and I think you have to have either a blueprint or something that's going to come up in the shop later on to be able to change those. I don't know, because this was just the beta, so it might actually already be incoming. This is just my point of view. Let's see. More mods. Well, mods in general and servers are supposed to be coming up in a year. They said Speculatively, in a year from launch is when they're going to try and implement all this. I would love to see private servers come in faster than that, because there's a lot of people who want to be able to play the game together and do like role-playing. Role-playing in me is like the best part of games like this. Online gaming, if you can get a group of people together who can act and react off of each other, make the best storylines. They really do. You never know what kind of stuff they're going to get into or what's going to be said, and those are the ones I go back and watch. Shout out to Vertigo and hang on, I'm thinking, oh my gosh. Oh geez, check out my section on the featured. Gopher does some really good ones, but these things I go back and watch incessantly. It's like they give me the biggest giggle. Fubar Bundy was the one I was talking about. Fubar Bundy and Vertigo play games like Rust and DayZ and things like that, and they do some of the best role-playing stuff. I love watching that, and I would like to have a server dedicated to people who want to do the role-playing. And it's just like your group has this idea of stuff that they're doing. These are the characters that walked out of the vault. Here they are. This is who they were while they were in there. Say your character was a little bit mischievous and liked to tinker with things, and occasionally those things that they tinkered with exploded. Me. And maybe somebody in my group, maybe somebody that they loved or cared about got hurt a little bit, and there's like that little bit of animosity when you first come out of the vault. And that would add tension in your group. And then you take that group and you interact with another group and just see what happens. I think things like that would be so fun. And then, of course, the private servers for those people who are just interested to go out there and explore and build and not interested in the PvP element at all. They should be given a place to do that. I am not one of those people. I enjoy the PvP aspect. Everybody calls it griefing. I call it, don't be an asshole. Just simply put, it seems like we had that PvP session, and when it was over, everybody broke apart. People weren't assholes. We did our PvP, we had our fun, and then we walked away. And that was like the best kind of PvP there was. It was a little bit of adrenaline, and then it was done. So it was so great that day. Let's say, and more NPCs, and I don't mean NPCs like human NPCs. We are supposed to be the first vault open, which means there shouldn't be very many humans that made it through at all. Would it be interesting to find one human that survived in a bunker somewhere? It would be interesting to see that, maybe a small family or something, and they're like the only other humans. But what I'm talking about is like the ghoul NPCs and the super mutant NPCs. They didn't say that they couldn't be human-like. And we have had ghoul NPCs in games before. We've even had Fox, and we had Strong, and we had there was the one in Far Harbor, I can't remember his name, but he sold the dogs. It was so amazing to meet those characters and learn their stories. It would be nice to see them come to this one as well. NPCs that are not human but still offer something. Even if they don't even offer a quest, they're just walking along the road and you can stop and talk to them and listen to their story. Would be so great. All in all, I would have to say this game is like a 10 out of 10. As far as the building aspect, everybody knows I started out as a Fallout 4 builder. Well, if you've been with the channel for a while. If you're new, I did start out as a Fallout 4 builder. There are builds coming. I've already worked on one. I've shown it in one video while I was working on it. I do hope to do another build, one for security and growing purposes, and one for hopefully if the merchant booths become available. So far as I know, nobody has had a chance to actually work with the merchant containers. I don't know of anybody who got those, anybody who found a blueprint for them. So I don't think they were in this version of the game. I think they will be in the next version. So I'm hoping to have a secondary build that I can put up while I'm out, put it next to a town and allow people to buy stuff that I have already, I don't know, found and not needed. Like, I could put up a medical thing because I have found so much aid that I could not do anything with. I was already growing enough and catching enough that I didn't need the stuff I was finding. But people first starting the game and low level could probably benefit from having, I don't know, say, some dog food or some anything else that's not radiated, because that would kill them off pretty fast if it was. So some packaged meals that they could buy at a low level. As it stands, you can't sell any of that stuff to the already in-game merchants for more than one cap. One cap! So if you were to put it out there and you had it at 2 caps, you would still be making a lot off of it, as opposed to the in-game stuff. Now, granted, I played for an entire day before I even found my first cap, so keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Caps are not easy to come by at all. One other thing I will say about the building element of the game is the controls are a bit wonky. Like, you have to put your hand on, well, I'm playing on the PC for anybody who doesn't know. You have to put your hands on the C and Z button for one of the tabs, or one of the menu items. The problem is the button right in the middle is the X button, which is like a continuous walk thing that you can just set on your character and walk away for a couple of seconds or not have to hold your finger on the button, and you will continuously walk. The issue is whenever you're going from C to Z, accidentally sometimes the X can get hit, and I was building on a cliff and almost walked straight off of that thing more than once. So it being there is kind of weird. And then you have to have your other hand on the other side of your keyboard with the arrow keys. And then, in order to maneuver into the right spot, you also have to move your hand over to your mouse. So I'm having my hands in several different places trying to operate the build menu. This is the reason why whenever I moved to PC on Fallout 4, I used a controller. I think the controls could probably be mapped out better if, per se, I don't know, more buttons on the computer were allowed to be used for those, like the up and down buttons were actually used for those. That way I could use my hands on the arrow keys only, and then the mouse. So some mapping out of my keys might help out, but last time I tried to do something like this, it's like the game didn't save my information on the keys I wanted to use it. But that wasn't in this game, it was in Fallout 4. I constantly had to reassign stuff. So I will be giving it a shot, I will let you know how that goes. See if we can't figure out some buttons that work the best for the building aspect. But all in all, the building is great. They gave us some different assets, not all of them are the same. Everything has to be opened with a blueprint, which is great in my opinion. You're not going to come out of the vault knowing how to build all this stuff. It would be great coming out of the vault knowing how to build one or two items, which you don't really have. I apologize for the cat in the other room, and since she has decided to start doing that, I will end it here before I start rambling too much more. I hope to see you in the Wasteland. Look me up, I am More To Me for Life, I am playing on PC, and you are more than welcome to interact with me when you see me in the Wastelands. I will see you next time. You have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, and you stay shiny.